go by the name of Sean Kane. Zin, yes, the writer of Reggae Larger Than Life. Yes, him have a book out now. And we're gonna link up with him in a few. Zin, yeah, we're gonna link up with him in a few moments and thing. And yeah, what I must say about the book. Zin, cause the book is out there and one thing. So but anyway, as I said, we have Sean Kane, the writer, the author of Reggae Larger Than Life. I'm want to introduce the brethren to the Mindset program. Blessed love, Sean.
Blessed love, IjahStars. Thank you very much for having me, man. Greetings, blessings, salutations.
Love, my brother. Warm welcome. It's an honor to have the hype on the program.
Well, it's an honor as well, to be talking to you, man, to be, checking out the show and all of that kind of thing. I'm really happy to be part of this.
So, you're based here in the UK, right?
Yes, I live in Essex. Okay. So just on the border, London border.
Just on the London border. You're here today because you have a book out, Reggae Larger Than Life. But before we open up the book, we want to find out a little bit about the idea. Just tell me a little bit about the itself, growing up.
Well, yes, I was born in Jamaica, and I spent quite a bit of my years there. Went to high school and college, that sort of thing. And then I came to the UK, went to university, did a bit of work in banking. Then I decided that I didn't quite like it, so I went into teaching. So I went back to university, did my teaching qualification, and I went into teaching. And I've been doing that ever since. But just before that, in the Caribbean, I worked in the media. And that's kind of how it all started, my interest in music and interest in media and communication and that sort of thing. And now I do contribute to a weekly Caribbean paper here in the UK. And that's, in a nutshell, that's me.
Yeah, so there I grew up in Jamaica, partly here as well.
Definitely, yes. Yeah. Born, bred, everything. School days, everything, Jamaica. Country boy as well. I'm from St. Mary. So it's all the country stuff, not the city guy. And even now, I still can't feel comfortable in the city. I like countryside. So that's why I'm where I'm at. It's just right in the middle of where you can get close to nature. Again, you can hear birds singing. You can see grass growing. You can see animals moving around. And there's space, there's peace, there's quiet. I quite like that. And the pace at which things move is more in line with my pace, my rhythm.
So I work in media.
I'll tell you, I spent probably about 7 or so years in media, doing reporting, producing programs, interviewing people, and writing stories, all that kind of thing. And then, I kind of moved away from that. But now I just freelance a bit of, every now and again, if there's a story to cover, I might get called to go and have a look at that. Then I just write up a story and so forth. But I'm not really based in media at the moment. I'm in education at the moment.
So, all right, because, in Jamaica, in Jamaica, educational system is a little bit different from what we find here in the UK. There are certain things that we see here in the educational system that I personally, I don't think it's, educational beneficial for, children at, age 6, learning about certain things. You know what I mean? Things that is not going to be benefiting them. And you have a lot of these things that is in, the curriculum where, at an early age. Now in Jamaica, we learn about sex education and we learn about religious education and all of these things. But what we see here, because, I pay attention to when I go to, my youth them school and, the things them that I see come home every half term. We report them and the things them that they're introducing to these children to learn. Some of these things are not educational benefit. It's on the long term, I don't see how they're going to benefit from it. So we find out it's an issue wherein a lot of people don't want to speak about certain things that they know. Enough children grew up in a Christian home, enough children grew up in a Muslim home. See, and you have enough parents don't want them youth to be taught about Islam and all of these things because of their religious background. But these things are in the curriculum, and you find enough children are being excluded from certain things that is involved. What do I view upon these things?
Well, you touched on a few things. You mentioned things like sex education, so I'm just going to respond to bits that you highlight. So sex education as well as religious beliefs and principles. In terms of sex education, I honestly don't think, say, 6 and 7 and 8 year old kids should be taught about sex education. I think that's probably a bit for later. There are certain basic things that they should understand, probably gender roles, and I'm very much into that. But I might be, one of the among the dying breed now, because I know that gender stuff is kind of disappearing. But I'm a traditional guy. I was brought up in a Christian home, so I do believe in quite a bit of that gender role. So a man and a woman, and what the way women appear, their appearance, what the dressing and all of that, as well as men. So you can distinguish between. I am very much in agreement with that, but I know things are disappearing now where there shouldn't be any gender. It should just be people out there, and that's acceptable, but not for me. And I think that is a role for the parents to sort out at home. And you might want to fight with the people who create the curriculum, the government and all these other people, but that's a big fight. So I think if you cannot help but keep your kids in the mainstream school system, then when they come home, you should have conversations with them. And whatever they get told at school, if it's not something that you feel is right or you think that that's how things should be, then you have that conversation with them, have that discussion with them and clarify the situation so that they don't go out there and be confused as to what is right, what's wrong. Because they might latch on to what they get taught at school and say, well, that's the way to live. And
True.
they live like that. And then it might not be pleasing to you as a parent, as well as based on your religious views and the way you were brought up, your cultural views, you might think, well, my son or my daughter is going astray. So I think you should have that discussion with them. Put that your side, your argument, on the table, as well as the argument that they get from school, and you discuss it and let them weigh up, the pros and the cons, what's good for their own development going forward. That's what I think. In terms of religion now, that's another issue. I probably would be biased towards Christianity because that's how I was brought up. But as far as comparing the two religions, you mentioned Islam, so that's the one I'm speaking specifically to. Comparing those two and looking at the way they talk, the things they have in common that are for the betterment of society or for mankind, love, peace, kindness, all of those things, and obeying the commandments. Fine, I'm very much into those. But when they swing towards the extreme left or extreme right, I think that gets a bit difficult for me. And it's difficult for me to accept some of those views, extreme views. But as far as they talk about love and peace and the promotion of happiness and unity in the human race, I'm very much of that.
We have to love each other, because, love is the order of the day. Love hang our laws, without love, then, we probably even wouldn't dare you, so a reason right or no. So, love shall be that central point. But as there I said that, we're speaking earlier about some of the things that we see that was happening in Libya. I know you were listening. What do I view, knowing that it's not just yesterday these things are really happening, but knowing that it's still happening?
Yeah, when you say these things, what specifically do you mean?
Well, specifically,
so
like
respond to those.
the slave things that we see, the slavery, human trafficking, and these things that we see happening in Libya right now. That we see surface a lot on the social platforms, whether it be the Facebook or the Instagram.
Well, to be honest with that, I'm very angry with things like those because my foreparents, they went through a lot of suffering as a result of slavery. And just to see that now, that just brings up the pain again. Because even though I personally wasn't around at that time, but having read about the experiences, about the Middle Passage, about, even watching things like Roots, and you can see the wickedness, the cruelty that was meted out to my people. If that's happening again, I'm sorry, but I can't be happy about this, and somebody needs to step in. Of course, we know that the people who perpetrated it then, they might not have a problem with it, so they might be sitting by now and not doing much about it. But I think we should have these debates. We should put that in their faces and let them go and stop this. They've got the means to do it. When they want oil, they know what to do. They get their guns and their tanks and their planes, and they go wherever the oil is, wherever it's stopping them, and they blow them out of the way, and they go and get the oil. So this is happening now. It's an atrocity. It's an attack on humanity. So let's blow all the people out of the way to set our people free. That's my view on it. So we need to keep talking so these people take it seriously and realize that it's a problem.
It's a serious problem.
It is a very serious, and I'm really, really surprised to know that. And in this day and age, something like that is allowed to happen.
It's a serious one. And we could go on and on still. But tell me about the book now. Reggae Larger Than Life. Is this the first book they are putting out?
Well, no, it's the second book I put out. It's the first one on reggae, but the first one I did overall, that was called Setting the Field for Your Financial Victory. That was released in 2007, so that was 10 years ago, quite a long time. It was written against the backdrop of the Cricket World Cup, the one-day cricket World Cup that was held in the Caribbean around about that time. And it was just to encourage people in Jamaica to cash in on the tournament, because lots and lots of tourists from all over the world were coming to the Caribbean, to Jamaica in particular, to watch the cricket. So we're saying, sell your Jamaican delicacies, sell all your cultural items, craft items, all these different things, and just get some money from the tournament. So that was the purpose of the book. Of course, the pause button was put down quite quickly on that because it was dated. It was written for people to cash in on the tournament 2007. So after 2007, or after the tournament, that was the end of that book. I've been meaning to revamp it as a general business book, but I've not really got around to it all these years. Really haven't. And then the idea of doing Reggae Larger Than Life now came to me, and I thought, I quite like this. So I just went straight for it. How did it start? I've always been into music in terms of liking music. I've always been, even at school, I was drumming on the tables with my friends and making rhythms and just singing along. Some of my friends were DJing, some of them were rappers, and we were all just getting in there and having a good time. Also, I would ask them all the time, I would start singing a song. Who did that? Who did this? Who did that? And they would ask, some would guess, some would get it right, some not get it right, and I would tell them, and so forth. So I thought, and they were quite interested in it then. So when the idea came to me, I thought, this is something that I've always been doing. I think people would be interested in this again. So I started putting a few questions together, and I started asking people because I wanted to do a bit of research just to see if there was any interest in this and there would be a market for it. And people just couldn't get enough. You asked them one, and they went straight in. And no, give me another one. Give me another one. And I thought, you know what, this is quite good. So I'm going to go straight for it. And I just went straight into it. The way I ask the questions, I use song titles and things like those as clues. And then I just try to creatively phrase the questions in a way that is quite interesting. And then people would ask the question. For example, I could say something like, despite seeing the no disturb sign, he was so tempted to touch that he got into double trouble in the 1990s. Who was that? So if I should ask you that now, Ijah, who would that be?
That sounds like Barry Salmon.
That's exactly what it is. It's Barry Salmon. See, just the way I kind of phrase it using the song titles as clues. And you got that, and straight away, and you haven't said it, but you're probably thinking, oh, that's all right, I could have another one. But, that's the idea, and that's how it came about.
Brilliant, let me have another one. Give me another one.
All right. Which British reggae singer had a major hit in the 1990s with Close to You?
The Virgin name. The Rasta name.
Your Rasta name. That's it. Maxi Priest.
Maxi Priest. Yes, Maxi Priest.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. So that's the nature of the book. And then when people start getting questions asked like that, they want more and want more and more. So I just thought, you know what, let's do it. So the book is comprised of 250 multiple choice questions. So the question, you've got answers there. You choose A, B, C, or D, whichever you think is the right one. Also, it's got crossword puzzles in there. So I'll use song titles to get you to kind of identify a singer. Also, word searches and even unscrambling different words as well. So I'd probably put the name of a singer and just mix the letters up, and then you should unscramble that. And that's also, one of the games that we've got in there. Also, matching games, things like, for example, I might have on the left-hand side stage names, and on the right-hand side, you've got the real names. So I might have Cool Ruler, I might have Crown Prince of Reggae, the King of Reggae, and things like those. And then you should match on the other side now. Who do you think these are? So you have names like Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaac, old Bob Marley, all of that. You just match up, all these different names. So it gives people the real names of artists. Some people really would like to know that. They didn't know that. That's the name of that person. As well as it tells you things that people used to do before they started music. For example, if I asked, I could ask you as well, who was a shoemaker before they started their music career?
Judgment,
is that something you're familiar with?
Catch me this, catch me this.
All right, that was General Trees.
General Trees.
Yeah, General Trees, a wicked shoemaker from Drewsland in Kingston. He used to work with his father. I think he learned the trade from his dad. And they used to work in the same shop. And then he decided to pick up the mic. And then after that, the rest was history. King Jammy's had him, recording, and he was all over the place doing things. And before you know it, he was Ghana Grill, and it was Not Touch to Give Me the Isla Lubricant, Touch Meat, and all that. So General Trees really took off in a big way. So he started doing other things. Maxi Priest that we mentioned, he was a carpenter. Who would believe that Maxi could, climb a ladder? But yeah, Maxi was a carpenter. And then Maxi picked up the mic, and the rest is history. So it's things like these we try to get people to understand what people did before they went into music. Somebody like Sophia George was a hearing impaired teacher before she went into starting her girly songs and all those things. So it just goes to show that a lot of these people, they did interesting things before they started music. And that's what the book pointed out. Also, we had features on different artists. We got Platinum Selling Jack Radix. We had a deep chat with him and got loads of wisdom to share. It's all in the book there. We also spoke with G Wiz. I remember that guy was inspired by the song he did about life. Life will soon be sorted out. And, we had a chat. And he's a really interesting guy as well. We also spoke with Davil. And Davil was so interesting. And that's when I really even learned that Jack Thomas, who did the shoulder move, all of that, that's Davil's dad. I didn't even realize that. So there's so much that people can learn from just buying that book and going through it. There's a lot of fun in it. And with Christmas coming up, now is the best time to get it. When everywhere's quiet, you can sit with your family, ask questions, just have a really good time learning about reggae.
So it's a family, is it sound like a more family orientated type of book?
Well, what I tried to do is to make it clean. That's the main thing, to make it clean so that anybody could interact with it. Because what if my mom picks it up and she wants to have a go? I don't want her to see anything funny in it. That would make me cringe. So I thought to myself, let's make this clean so families can sit and enjoy it. Friends can sit. So, in Jamaica, we like to sit on the corner. So man and man can sit on the corners and just quiz each other about it. And the good thing about it is that it's the information in it. It's stuff that they interact with every day. The music that they listen to every day. The artists they listen to every day. So it's nothing strange, really. It's just that probably they haven't thought of the questions like that or the information the way I've phrased it. But that's it. The information is there in the public domain and they interact with it every day from growing up. They've been listening to that kind of music. So it's a family-orientated book. It could be used in colleges and universities as a reference guide because the dates in it, I had to do some research and check and double check to verify the information. So the information in there can be relied upon to be factual.
Yes,
so it's got many uses. Right now it's just the time is just for people to just start getting copies of it and enjoying it and spread the word of reggae. Even people who were just curious about reggae, just buy that. You'll learn a little bit about it. And, anywhere in the world people are, they just pick up reggae because reggae is so big all over the place, I remember I was talking to a radio guy from Kenya, and he was saying to me that, well, are you thinking about translating this book into Spanish and, French and Portuguese and everything? I said, well, I never really thought of doing that, but now that you mention it, I can see how relevant that is. So there you go. That expands the market even more. It opens up even more avenues and more opportunities for the book and for reggae in general. Because I'm not a singer, I'm not a DJ, but this is my way of spreading the culture, spreading our heritage.
And where people can get the book, where they can find it?
Well, the book now, if people are in London, they can get the book at quite a few shops down here. It's at Body Music in Tottenham. It's also at Pempamsey Bookshop in Brixton. That's at Brixton Hill. It's also at Supertone Records on Acre Lane, Brixton. And it can also be bought at Maestro Records in Peckham. That's on Rye Lane. And failing those, you can get it to buy on Amazon. So anywhere in the world people are, just jump on Amazon. All you need to type in the search engine is Reggae Larger Than Life. The book comes up and it's all yours.
Yeah, tell her. We need to get my copy. Still,
well, you know what you need to do, because I did talk to you about that, and I haven't heard anything, so you know what you need to do.
Yeah, man.
Before we move on from that bit, also in Jamaica, I've got books available in Jamaica now. So Reggae Larger Than Life is available in Jamaica. You can get physical hard copies there. The book is available at the Book and Stationery Place at Shop 5C in the Portmore Mall in Portmore. It's also available at Angel's Book and Variety Store at Angels in Spanish Town. So it's at the Angels Plaza, shop number 21. And you can also get that if you're living in Linstead. It's at the Linstead Book and Variety Store at 40 King Street in Linstead. So we're trying to increase the number of outlets we've got distributing the book so that people can access it quite easily. And so far, we're in St. Catherine. We're concentrating on St. Catherine, and we'll be spreading out as the time goes by and more shops express a willingness to carry the title.
Yeah, I think St. Catherine is a strategic place to penetrate. I love that move.
That's what we thought as well. So we thought, let's concentrate on St. Catherine because lots of big artists come from St. Catherine. And then after that, we're looking to jump into Kingston. But I think St. Catherine, first of all, is a good place to kind of saturate it and then spread out to other places.
Yeah, because St. Catherine is the biggest parish.
Yes, definitely. And it's kind of smack in the middle of everything. Yeah. So Kingston is just to one side, then the west is to the other side. So it's quite central where that is. So Portmore, Spanish Town, Linstead. The book is currently available in those places. So whoever is listening from Jamaica, you can definitely get copies of the book in those places. Failing that, you can go on Amazon. There are places in Jamaica where you can go to if you don't have a credit card, and they will buy the book from Amazon for you, and you pay them for it as a service that they offer. And I think that's quite convenient, quite good. So even if you don't have a credit card and you can't get the book, you're far away from shops in Jamaica, you can still get the book by going to Amazon, going to one of those outlets. They will order the book for you, and you pay them for it, and you'll have your book.
Lovely stuff. I love it, I love the vibration. I love the vibration, the ethic behind what I go on. Yeah, I love that. Selassie, I know. Hey, my brother, it's been a great honor to have the hype on the program. Selassie, I know.
Yes, man, it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure. Thanks very much for the opportunity so I can talk about Reggae Larger Than Life and encourage people to go and buy it, let them make them more aware of it, and then go out and get a copy. It's good fun. It's good information as well. Not just fun, but things they learn about reggae music and some of the contributors who helped to make reggae great over the years. Singers, songwriters, producers, all these different people. There are questions on them to help really give those people a voice, put them out there in the front, in the fore, because they've always been in the background working. You don't hear them. You just hear the artist voicing the tune and see the artist performing. But these people, they say, let's bring them up to the front. You know that was the one who produced it. This was the one who wrote the song. That's the musician. That's the arranger.
Yes, I say, how people can get them books signed when they have the book.
Well, there'll be a official launch, and that will be at the Jamaican High Commission. The date has not been decided yet, but as soon as that's decided on, a release will be sent out, and everybody will know. And then they can come on down to the High Commission at the launch. You can get your book signed.
Yes, Sean, give thanks to the high time and energy, you know what I mean? It's been an honor, again, having the hype on.
Definitely, IjahStars. Anything to spread the culture of Jamaica, man, because it's a blessed place, it's a blessing. We all come from there. We like the place, and things might not be perfect, but in time, I think we can fix things if we work together. But we have to keep on spreading the culture, because don't get it wrong, lots and lots of people, they have managed to establish a good living from reggae. So had it not been for reggae, what would they do? So we have to preserve this thing, because this is ours and the world likes it. So we have to just keep on generating new and new music and put it out there so that we can feed those people who are hungry for the music and satisfy their appetite. That's it. And it provides, as I said, economic opportunities for lots of people in Jamaica and outside of Jamaica as well. So let's keep this thing going.
Straight up. Yeah, man. Vertical. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, Sean. Blessed love, man. Manners and respect. Great work.
Yeah, man. So thanks very much for having me, man. Thanks for the opportunity, and all the best to the IjahStars, man, and the radio and everything you do, man. Definitely.
Thanks for being on the program. Thanks for taking the time, for come and reason with us. I love how the eyes, sharp on the early part of the part. Yeah,
thanks for the compliment, man. Well, we have to work, as we said, we have to work, we have to just make sure we keep spreading the culture, keep lifting up Jamaica. Sometimes you get a little, few funny stains on the name of Jamaica. We have to keep wiping it off, and the people who flash the stain on it, we have to talk up to them and say, listen, you can't do that, because this is a very important name, it's a very important brand, it's a very important place. So we have to protect it, preserve it, because we all love it. So let's do our best, man, to keep presenting Jamaica in a positive light. And any little mangle or any little crease we see on the name Jamaica, straighten it out quickly. Let's keep looking pretty.
Yeah, man, bless up yourself, man. You don't know. Hey, the Jamaica thing is another thing. You don't want to start me up on the Jamaica thing, but here, more love, more strength. Zin?
Yes, man, bless up. All the best.
We'll
Take
keep
care.
the link.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Yes, definitely. You too. Bye-bye now.
Blessed love. Yes, my brothers and sisters, you don't know, I run over a bit of time, but, we give thanks, said way for, our brothers and our sisters taking the time out today to speak with us on the program. Manners and respect to management and staff, more love, more strength. This is the Mindset program. I'm your host, Honorable IjahStars, and we're there every Wednesday, 7 till 10 UK time, Amlak Live Radio. And here, move where move.